EMR prescriptions, e-prescribing controlled substances, security token, and identity authentication. As covered in separate videos within this series, the implementation of the EPCS service within Prognosis occurs in multiple steps. We had the provider enrollment, which occurs behind the scenes. We discussed in our Obtain a Personal Security Token video the process of actually creating an identity account and applying for the security token. The third part, which is what we're going to cover in this video, is the two-factor authentication, which is completing the identity proofing as well as registering your token and retrieving the digital certificate for that token. And then the final video of our series deals with the setup within Prognosis. So again, with that third step of the two-factor authentication, now that we've received our token, we're going to complete the registration of it as well as the authentication of our identity. And we're going to do this by following the instruction letter that comes to us with the token. Once you receive it, what's included in the package will be the token itself, an installation CD for the identity authentication software, and an instruction letter, which will step you through the process. Now, please note there is also an FAQ page that IdenTrust has set up that discusses the various tokens and their functionality. Prognosis, of course, recommends and is demonstrating the hybrid one-time password token. So the first step is to install the identity authentication software for the token. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to demonstrate this in the video because it requires that all other applications be shut down, and then you have to reboot the computer in order for the changes to take effect. It is a user-intuitive installation, however, so just follow the prompts through the wizard once you've inserted the CD. After rebooting the computer, then, we're going to pick it back up with the completion of setting your token up, and there will be a new icon called the Safenet authentication software. Now, it will typically be hidden. You'll notice in the lower right of your system taskbar, there's sometimes icons that are running in the background. I've got it expanded here so that you can see the icon in the lower right, and it looks like an S for Safenet. Now, according to the instruction letter, the next step after installing the Safenet and rebooting is to set a permanent passcode for the token. Now, the token is shipped with a one-time temporary passcode, which is included in your instruction letter. So you want to physically insert the token now into the computer. And please note that it's critical that you never forget this particular passcode, as it locks your digital certificate to the token, which cannot be otherwise recovered. So we're going to take a look at this process now. When you insert the token into your computer, you'll notice in the lower right on your taskbar that the token drivers are automatically installed. Then you will be immediately prompted to change the passcode as you see here. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and then for the current token passcode, you're going to enter the one included with the instruction letter. You'll notice here on the screen, it does give you the requirements for your password, that it must be at least 8 characters. It must contain both uppercase and lowercase letters, as well as numbers and special characters. You'll see that I do satisfy that criteria by 100%, so it is letting me save my password. And there's my confirmation that I have changed it successfully. Now, with regards to two-factor authentication, one's identity is proven by something that they have as well as something they know. In this case, that is the token and the passcode, which is directly linked to the person's identity. Now, you may have noticed that they have been using the label passcode instead of password in regards to the token. Now, throughout the process, there are also passwords. And with regards to passwords, you'll recall that there are security questions defined. That is because in the case of a password, it can be recovered. That is not the case with the passcode and the token. If you forget the passcode to your token, the certificate is permanently locked and cannot be recovered. Now that the token is secure, the next step is to retrieve the digital certificate. While the token is still inserted in your computer, we're going to open up your internet browser and navigate to the IdenTrust website. So you're going to type www.identrust.com/install. Now at this point, you're simply going to follow the prompts through the wizard. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the orange button that says I'm ready. is going to verify that you've installed the Safenet software, which we did in the earlier step. And now I'm going to enter the activation code from my letter. This again is going to be unique for each user and each token purchased. This account password is the one you created previously when you actually ordered the token. Now, as we previously discussed, since this is a password, if you forget it, there is a link here that will go through your security questions so that you can reset it. That was not the case, however, with the token passcode. Once you've reset your password or entered it correctly, if you had remembered it, simply click the next button to continue the activation wizard. At this point, you'll notice that I am being prompted to either run or save the file. You'll want to select Run, and this is going to launch the installation wizard. Now, this wizard is going to accomplish several steps. So as it does, just go ahead and accept all of the default values and click the Next button on each of the pop-ups. This first part was installing the ActiveX controls to your computer that are required to then retrieve the certificate from IdenTrust. Now, when you get this installation complete message, click the Close button. You'll get a please wait status while it is generating the file of the certificate that you will then retrieve and download to the computer and to the token. Now, you're going to notice several phases seem to get repeated here. You're going to be prompted to enter your token passcode multiple times, and that of course is going to be that one that we said earlier that you don't want to forget. And what this installation is doing is synchronizing your computer and your token with your encryption certificate, which of course is linked back to your identity in the IdenTrust account, which you've authenticated through the Safenet software. So it tells me now that I have successfully retrieved my certificate. The next step is to generate the keys for my signing certificate. So I'm going to follow the steps here on the screen to do this. You're again going to be prompted to enter the token password, and this again is to secure those electronic signature keys both on your computer and on your token. Now at this point it is going to ask you to verify your certificate information. So you just want to verify that the certificate matches up. And then the final part is to set up your OTP password, as we see here at the bottom. Now, this one-time password feature is, of course, specific to the hybrid token, which is the one Prognosis recommends and the one we have been demonstrating in our videos. If you have the standard token, then this would not be applicable for you. The benefit of the one-time password is, as previously covered in our overview, you do not have to have your token physically attached to the computer, and it will work in any internet browser. So this is simply enabling that functionality for your token. So you're going to assign yourself a unique password. Now, please note this is not the same as your token passcode, which we previously set. There is a distinction between the token passcode and the one-time password password. This is going to be used when actually generating the prescription from a machine where your token is not physically connected. So we're just going to go ahead and enter our password and then click the Next button. We're now prompted to verify our certificate downloaded properly. So we're going to click the Next button again, and then we will get a pop-up of all of the digital certificates on our computer. We want to go ahead and select the one that matches our token. Click the OK button. It's going to prompt us to once again enter our token passcode, and we finally get the congratulations, certificate retrieval completed successfully. And at this point, we can close our browser, do the setup in Prognosis, and then the physician can start e-prescribing the controlled substances. So in review of our security token and identity authentication, the first step, of course, is to obtain the token as covered in our previous video. Then we're going to install the Safenet authentication software, which is the physical CD that comes in the package with the token. We're going to register the token and reset its passcode, activate our digital certificate to our IdenTrust account, install the ActiveX controls to our computer, retrieve the encryption digital certificate first to our computer and then secondly to our token. We will then create the signature pair keys for our electronic digital certificate, verify that the certificate is installed properly, set the one-time password to enable that functionality, and then you can move on to the next step, which is defining the EPCS setup and prognosis.